So when you back up to like sit down on the toilet, you have to like back up and like put your butt up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's chilly.
A little bit.
It's chilly. It was what? We're only in the 20s.
29,
this
I
past
think.
night. Yeah, it's supposed to get down to 9 degrees
Tuesday night.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Hi guys, Brad and Aaron here from 5 to Go. We just spent our first night ever in a motorhome of any type. This one just happens to be a Class C from Cruise America. I just want to say up front, they did give us a really good discount to take this out for a week, so thank you to them.
Yes.
They did not pay us to make any of these videos or to say anything good or bad or either way. They just were saying thanks for some videos we did a while ago where we featured one of these and a lot of you guys really enjoyed it. So,
Yes.
So we decided we would take one out because we're thinking about buying one of these. We figure when looking at RVs, there are so few opportunities to actually rent one and like really try it out that we figured it would be dumb to not.
Right.
You know? So what are your just initial thoughts from our first night in one of these?
Well, going in, I thought it might be too small because we're used to like 38 feet or 37 feet of travel trailer.
Yeah, we full-time for almost 2 years in a 37-foot travel trailer, so this is a lot smaller.
Right. But I really didn't miss the space. The kids had a place for them up in the cab over.
Yep.
We were able to watch a show.
On my laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's another thing.
These don't come with TVs, so we watched some stuff last night after dark on my laptop.
Right, and then the bed was a little short for you, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a full-size queen, and
Right.
there's not even room. Like if we bought one of these, there's not room to put a full-size queen.
Right.
Because you wouldn't be able to get around the bed.
The things that I was really worried about, it wasn't too bad. We would make some tweaks if it was our own, I think, but it was definitely doable.
Yeah, so what I mean by full-size queen, by the way, is I don't know if you saw the tour video 2 videos ago now, where a normal queen size mattress is 60 by 80.
Right.
An RV queen is 60 by 74. So it is 6 inches shorter, and when you're 7 feet, I'm 7 feet tall.
Wow.
7 on my mind. When you're 6 feet tall, like me, and you also sleep like, you know, stretched
Straight
out
on his back.
My feet are hanging off the end of those, so.
Yeah. I didn't have a problem with it at all.
She did not. However, the problem we did have is we had both Ben and Vector in our bed.
Yeah.
Which, when you take a smaller queen and you add a 3-year-old and a 50-pound dog, that causes some issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and it caused some issues too because the bed is so high and there's a step and then the bed is really high.
Yeah.
Vector couldn't climb up or jump down. So he whined for quite a bit.
He woke us up by whining because he wanted to be up on the bed.
He wanted to be up on the bed, which is fine.
Yeah.
So I woke up, I got all of his 50 pounds up into the bed with us, but then he couldn't get down. So he was up there. He couldn't, he couldn't get down if he was too hot or whatever. So, that was a bit of a struggle. And he did try jumping up later this morning.
And fell off.
And he fell off.
Yeah, he got his front paws up and just
slid back. Yeah. So that's something that we would have to really consider because when we're gone and we leave him in the rig, like when we go out for little day trips and stuff, he sleeps in the bed usually. Yeah. That's where he's most comfortable. So I don't want him to be on an island where he can't get off of if he gets up there. Yeah. And then can't get down.
I'm not sure what we would do about that. I think like a ramp down the hallway would just be annoying and in the way, and there might be some other way to like build a step up on one side. I don't know.
We'll see.
We did not have that trouble in our travel trailer because the corner of the bed was accessible from the hallway, so he would actually jump in from the doorway and have plenty of room to jump out. So for some reason, I guess, and that extra, the bed's pretty high.
It is very high.
There's like a step up into the bedroom, and then the bed itself is pretty beefy.
Right. And we travel with Vector. He's always with us. So it's a big concern to make sure he's comfortable and happy and not feeling left out. So
now, as far as the other 3 children, the human children, they all fit up in the cab over, no problem.
Yep.
Of course, there's people putting feet in other people's faces and normal sibling crap like that. But they were totally comfortable.
Well, and
tons of room.
Because they're still so little, even Tara, she's not very tall.
Yeah,
they were able
10, 5, and 3.
Right.
So they're small.
So they slept with their heads towards the front of the rig, and then their feet kind of out towards the interior of the rig.
Yeah.
And they could fit 3 across that way with tons of space in between.
You have a queen fitted sheet up there, and so the queen fitted sheet fits across that entire area. So they were laying basically on a queen, but sideways. So they fit really well. Yeah.
Lots of room up there, and they all had their own little space for their devices and their blankets, and so if they would stay in their spaces, that would be perfect.
Yeah. So
I was though a little worried about Ben sleeping up there. Brooke and Tara are very agile and they can get up and get down.
Getting back down.
I was a little bit worried about Ben waking up in the middle of the night and trying to find us.
Yeah.
But luckily he woke up as we were going to bed. They all fell asleep at like 6:30 or 7 o'clock last night. It was really, really weird.
Well, they were over on this playground back here. We chose this spot because the playground's right next to it. They were on that playground from like 2 o'clock until it got dark.
Yeah.
So about 3
and we
or
went
4
on a
hours.
walk in between there.
And we went on a walk, yeah.
So they were tired and it was dark and there wasn't a lot of stuff to do. So they were just kind of like
there was no TV on, so nothing keeping them awake.
And then, so I was glad that he woke up whatever time we went to bed, at like 10.
I don't remember.
And so I just carried him in and he laid with us. And then I think I slept a little bit easier. There were all the dog and the toddler, preschooler in our bed, which made it a little uncomfortable. But I wasn't worried about trying to listen for him, calling out for me or trying to get down or anything like that. So
while getting down,
he gets up and down during the day just fine.
Yeah.
But I was just worried about at night being a little groggy and whatnot. So
I know that they do make like nets and stuff that you could put across those, but I have a feeling those would just get ripped out of the wall.
Yeah.
By one of the girls.
Yeah, push it on it or something.
And the way that they were laying with their heads like up into the front.
I wasn't worried about them falling off.
There's no like rolling off. It's just, would he be able to climb down half asleep?
Right.
That sort of thing. So
yeah.
So the bathroom.
It's a little different than our bathroom in the rig.
It's small, guys. Like,
it's small.
When I go in there to go number one, the toilet is up on like a raised platform, I guess, to leave room for the plumbing to connect into the tank below. And so when I go in and close the door behind me, I basically have the door touching my back and my toes touching the platform that the toilet is on. And that is all of the space. It's quite small. So when I was brushing my teeth, I was standing sideways in that area. I have broad shoulders, so I was actually leaning because the door was here and I was leaning out over the area like where the platform and the toilet is. So it's very snug in there. I
think I fit perfectly in there. Like I didn't feel, it's very small, but I wasn't like touching the door and all that. So how is using the toilet on the platform? So when you back up to like sit down on the toilet, you have to like back up and like put your butt up and like get up. And it's raised like this much. I know. I'm 5'5" and I have longer legs than I don't have a shorter torso, so my legs are long enough that I should be able to get up on it, but I still have to like raise my body up to get up on the toilet. Kind of unnatural. It's a little awkward. Yeah, so that's a little different. That's enough potty talk. What else? Did you want to talk about what we're doing with the potty? Oh yeah, so it is below freezing. Yep. It might be below freezing right now, I'm not sure. But it is going to be very, very, very cold overnight this week because this is Thanksgiving week. We are in Colorado, 6,000 feet plus altitude, so it is very cold here pretty much all the time. Except for when the sun's out. Yeah, when the sun's out, it gets up to like 80, but so overnight it's going to be very, very, very cold. So we are using basically none of the plumbing. No. We're only using the toilet. We don't have city water hooked up. We have no water in the tank because we don't want the fresh tank, or any of the. We don't want anything to freeze. Any of the piping or fixtures to freeze. Right. So basically, all we're doing is we're using bottled water to flush the toilet, and that's it. So the only water that's in the rig is in the black tank, and then we'll just flush that out at the end of the week. So that's that doesn't really affect. It's just we would have to do that in our
normal rig, that really has nothing to do with being in this motorhome.
No, it's just and it's something that they'll talk to you about if you rent one of these over
they have
like
a sheet,
a cold period of time, and they'll talk to you about either doing it dry where you don't use any water at all, or using this wet toilet kind of thing.
And actually, it's going to be so cold later this week that I'm going to get a bottle of RV antifreeze and use that to flush the toilet, every other time or something like that, just so there's antifreeze in there in addition to water and number one. Yeah. One thing I do not like about this rig, I don't know if this is all Class Cs or a lot of them, the steps are on the inside. So to get out the door, I'm not 7 feet, I'm 6 feet tall. I actually have to go down like one step and then bend down really far to lift the handle and push the door out of the way. And then the door is actually skinnier than the door that was on our travel trailer. I'm not sure why or how much skinnier, or if it's just this weird perception. But so I have to go down, hunch down, lift the handle and push the door, and then kind of like angle my way out of the door as I'm going down the stairs and stepping outside. So that's kind of annoying. I don't have this problem.
Opening the door, it's not that far down for me, and it's not an issue.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's just weird. Like travel trailer, the door was right there, the hallway height. Open the door, step out onto the stairs, and off you go. Right. So that's one thing. Another thing, there's not a lot of counter space for kitchen stuff.
No.
It would be awesome if there was a cover for the sink, because that sink is in prime like food prep area. Right. It's huge. It's in the middle of where a great little piece of countertop would be. So if we get one of these, I'm gonna find something to cover that. It is nice that there's the glass covered cooktop, because that does give you more space over to that side, because in the other ones it has the wire, so you'd have to put something on top of it anyway.
The cabinet that's above the sink is quite large too.
It's huge.
We fit almost all of our food up there that we brought for tonight. We'll see how it is for our 3 nights or 4 night stay later this week.
I will probably have to expand out into the ones over the dinette.
Okay.
Yeah. The couch is not very comfortable.
No.
I'm a person, I like arms. Like when I'm sitting in chairs, I like arms. There are no arms on that couch. And I also like to put my feet up, but there's obviously nowhere to put feet up.
So we were talking about, since Ben probably, he could always sleep on the dinette if we needed to instead of on the couch, but possibly switching that out for recliners.
Or a real couch.
Or a real couch with an ottoman or
smaller
something.
Real couch, yeah.
And so I don't know.
Yeah, there's nothing under it. There are no tanks. There's nothing underneath.
There's storage under there right now. A place where you could put. And I was thinking if we were full timing and that, or even part timing for a couple months, that we could. That could be where we put the kids' clothes, but we might be able to. Figure something else out.
Yeah, but as far as I know, it's just bolted down into the floor. So if we put a real couch in there, we could just bolt it down as well.
Right. It would probably have to be pretty skinny though. It's not a very wide couch.
Right.
But the walkway is wider than it has to be, I feel. So we could play around with that a little bit.
Yeah. I think the dinette is just fine.
Oh yeah, the dinette is nicer than the one we had in our rig. The seats are deeper, so it's
and the cushions are
nice. The cushions are a lot nicer too.
Yeah, the cushions that were in the dinette and the travel trailer we had were awful. Terrible. There's no awning, but don't care. Wouldn't have used it here.
No, my gosh, it was so windy last night.
Yeah, it's too windy, way too windy. There is an outside light. When I turned it on during the day, I was like, oh, that's a crappy light. It's not going to illuminate anything.
It's not at all.
When I turned it on to take the dog out, it was like, blah. So, good light. It's a good light. It's an LED light with like a whole bunch of LEDs in it. The storage in the back is massive.
It's huge. We brought all of their bikes, like you guys saw in the last video, and a bunch of other stuff. Well, we could have, if it was ours. Brian was talking about putting like some pegboard up on the back wall, and
or maybe some kind of dividing wall in the middle, just some way to make
the space
a little bit more
better.
Compartmentalization of that space, so things wouldn't slide around as much as they did.
Right. Yeah. But it's huge. It's just huge. We could have, if we had to bring like tubs of things with us for a longer trip.
You could put those huge, like what, 20 or 30 gallon Rubbermaid tubs. You could probably put 10 of those in there.
I don't know how much it would have felt bigger with a slide in it.
See, the slide.
We've
The
been going
slides in
back
most
and
of the
forth
Class
about
Cs,
them.
if it's not like the
Super
wall,
slide, yeah.
the full length wall super slide, that basically takes the whole thing out the side. Most of them, the slide is like where the dinette is.
Yeah, so you just have a little bit more floor space, and I don't know that we need that much floor space anymore.
From what we did in here last night, how we were hanging out and how we were eating and stuff, that extra space would not have benefited us in any way.
Right.
Okay, so I think that about covers it for our first night.
Yes.
So we're going to be back home for one night, and we're going to kind of restock and kind of change a couple things around, a couple storage things around from, this. It was actually nice taking a short trip. I can't imagine showing up at a Cruise America office with a car full of stuff.
Oh, yeah,
and hitting the road from there. Like, wow. It took so many trips in and out of the house just to kind of get stuff in there. I mean, you could totally do it.
You could.
Especially like if you get one of their provisioning kits and, if you get their sheets and all of that stuff, you wouldn't have to worry about any of that. And then you would just kind of like show up with, a suitcase of your stuff. But then you'd have to go to the store, get food and all that.
Yeah.
So
it was nice to bring it home first.
Yeah, it was definitely nice to bring it home. So we're going to be back home for one night, and then we're going to be out for 4 nights, kind of doing a big loop around Colorado. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be cold a couple of those days. We've decided we're not going to take the car with us.
Yep.
So we're going to travel just with the Class C.
We're going to get the pure experience.
The pure experience. And so that'll be interesting to kind of make sure that we can park in places, and because we have a couple of places we want to go to when we're in Grand Junction. So we'll check it out.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. We will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.